Wow. Welcome, everybody. Guess who? I'll be the Tris.
And I'm the Brina, and we are super excited about
Always
what we
excited.
have to share with you today because we've been getting such amazing feedback.
Incredible feedback.
In helping people restoring ageless mobility, and we'll tell you more about that a little bit later. But in this mini class, we're really going to focus on
Hips that don't lie.
hips that don't lie.
Thank you, Shakira.
Our favorite
Opening.
openers for hips and pelvis because it's so important to keep your hips strong as you mature. Strong hips support the spine. They keep you from falling. They help you stay balanced. When your hips are strong, you can carry your weight there so it doesn't drop into the poor little knees and the poor little ankles trying to support all of the weight. Keeps you strong enough to stay active, to walk up and down stairs, to get in and out of a car with ease, or be a professional athlete, whatever you want.
Yeah, there's so many reasons to have hips that don't lie. You know, the hips that don't lie thing is kind of funny because sometimes what happens is the body starts sending signals, information signals that aren't the truth. They're little lies. They're saying that this is broken or this hurts. And sometimes, yes, hips do hurt. But sometimes there's signals in the brain that keep looping, and it's the signal that's maladapted. We'll talk about that today and how we can correct the signal and correct the tissues, and everything goes back. Your hips aren't broken, dear one. They just need a little adjustment.
And the other thing that we're part two are the second layer of what we're going to teach during this mini class on how to open up your hips and pelvis. And by opening them up, they're going to be stronger and more mobile, and you're going to have feel like a fuller experience of life because
Yes.
you're not going to have that thing in your head all the time of be careful, is that a good chair? Oh, I don't know. We're going to talk about a different dimension. So in the last mini class that we talked about restoring ageless mobility with the body in a vertical position, and we did some neck and shoulders and hips. So when you're in a vertical position, gravity works in a certain way. But today we're going to talk about what happens when the body is sitting or laying down and more horizontal, and the gravity is more evenly distributed. Well, what that does is it takes the pressure off some of the joints that you couldn't work standing, and allows you to move joints. One of my favorite comments that came in this week was, I'm more mobile in places I didn't know I could be. Because after a while you just think, I don't move that way. I've had so many students say, well, I didn't know I could move my shoulders like that. I didn't know that was a possibility.
I think we forget what's possible as age sneaks and creeps up upon us. We get stiffer and we think it's just a function of getting older. And then all of a sudden, when you try a new exercise, like some of the things we've been teaching, you realize that area isn't dormant. That area came back to life, and you get this, as we say, ageless mobility back in your experience. You're like, whoa, wait a minute. Why has that been shut down for so long? And so what we need to look at is what's causing the shutdown, what's causing the stiffness and tightness, so that we can re-educate the brain and the body and bring that mobility back out.
Yeah, and
it is there.
This unique way that we have of teaching it you don't need to be super flexible to do a lot of these exercises.
don't.
Some people are very flexible and some aren't. This isn't really about flexibility, it's about mobility. And it isn't about pushing through the pain.
No.
You know, we're going to reteach if you attended the last class, the way that you breathe, the way that you just rub up against the border of your current mobility in order to tease it to the next level.
You're
and
teasing
encourage
me
it.
with that little elbow. I just want to give a quick shout out, hello to all of these beautiful friends here today.
we got a full
I saw
house.
Joanna jumped in early. Hi, Debbie. We've got Donna Rios in the house. We've got Vera, Barbara, of course, beautiful Barbara's here. Dale is saying hello. We've got Gail. Hi, Gail, and Trudy. We've got Anne. Hello, my dear. We've got certified instructors. Anne just got certified. Congratulations.
You did a great job, Ann.
She rocked it. Pamela's here. Hi, Pri. Carolyn. Oh my gosh, so many beautiful people here. Hi, Anne.
Yeah.
Hello,
See,
everyone.
So
hi, Betty.
they just got certified in Qigong. Qigong is such a beautiful art form. The fluidity, and actually now I'm just remembering it. We were working with a group of people taking him through a Qigong certification. And we were talking like a month ago about how it could be better if they had more mobility in their body when they did the energy arts. So it's a really beautiful bridge the way it ties together, where Qigong, like number one, is for the energy body, but of course it's the physical body. Of course it helps with joint pain and stiffness and inflammation and just that chronic, I'm just going to say aches and pains. But this movement medicine, this mobility that we're going to show you is so, the results are so fast that you'll do it and then immediately the joint will open up. It's a completely different experience, and when you do the two together, it's very magical.
I like that you brought that out because we get questions sometimes. We're going to be on the mat in a little while. We're also going to be in a chair doing some exercises. So if you haven't already put some comfortable pants on, that would be a good idea if you want to join in and do this with us. When people ask me or ask us about healing and our journey of healing, we speak so much about Qigong. We love the energy arts. We love the internal flow of energy. We love Qigong for so many reasons. Of course, for healing, but it's a beautiful art, and it raises your consciousness. It enables you to send out a very clean, clear, beautiful energy signal. It applies to what you're manifesting in your life in a beautiful way. But then when we start talking about joint mobility and movement medicine, people ask and they say, but I thought it was Qigong that healed you. And the reality is Qigong is a multidimensional art. It's not just internal energy, it's the physical body with the internal energy. And so when you start to get the qi flowing and you're releasing old blockages in the pain ends, you start to notice more of the physical body where the structure could be misaligned, where there may be some old adhesions or tension. And the Qigong, depending on the type of Qigong you're doing, may or may not address that. So what we're talking about, it's more of a physical Qigong. We've created a program called Martial Yoga. Many of you have that. When we're talking about these movements, we're using the breath, we're using mindful awareness, but we're really getting into the physical tissue. And like Sabrina said, brushing up, teasing that range of motion, and asking the body to unlock and let go of old habit patterns.
And breaking up little scar tissues that could be there.
Yeah.
To me, I love this example of scar tissue. Let's say years ago, you had an injury. Like I ripped my rotator cuff doing a acrobatic dance move. And the body, it says heal it as fast as you can. Put the fibers in horizontally, vertically, diagonally, just heal that thing in every way. Right. And what that does is the fibers were, maybe let's say they were all vertical, and that's what gave me the flexibility and the range of motion. But in that trauma, it was just like as fast as possible, heal it. The body's just trying to help. So there are movements that you can do to break up the adhesions that are in directions that are keeping you from having your flexibility. And sometimes maybe you've been there for a couple of years or decades, and you will be stronger once you get rid of the scar tissue that is binding you.
True. So about 3 weeks ago, we shared a little mini class like this for the shoulders. And maybe you attended that. The feedback was really great. And so we invited many folks to join us for a 4-week deeper dive, like a masterclass series. And
it was called How to Restore Ageless Mobility, and it was a 4-week masterclass, aka also known as Kata routine.
Yeah. And so we taught that in our Life Force school called a dojo. And so all of the students who were part of that school went through it. And then many of you were invited to join us, and quite a lot of you joined. And the feedback has been so great. I mean, if I were to read you, or we should probably later read some of what people are saying, but it caused us to reflect. It caused us to remember something that we take for granted. Being in our 50s and being incredibly mobile and able to pretty much do whatever we want and dance and jump and do all this stuff, that was earned. That was maintained and earned. For me, I had to earn it back. Sabrina's had lots of different things with shoulders and knees in her life, but she's earned her mobility. And we want to help you earn or reclaim your mobility with these exercises. And because there's such incredible feedback, it reminded me of how stiff and tight and painful my body used to be.
Yeah, just first thing in the
Massive
morning, you just
pain.
wake up and it's already stiff.
I mean, Sabrina's been a lot more mobile than I am in her life. I'm able to do a lot of what she can. I can't do everything she can do. She's like super Gumby, and we'll probably show that later. But I've had real stiffness and real pain, and I don't think I've ever seen you stiff other than when you hurt your back.
Yeah.
You were walking like a little old lady for a while, and she was having a hard time.
I couldn't walk
She
for a
couldn't put
while.
her like pants on, and I had to like hold her arm and help her. Has anybody, those of you joining us here right now, have you had that kind of discomfort, pain, or immobility? If you have, you know what a pain in the arse it is.
And until you do have it, I don't think I ever understood how painful it was. I really couldn't walk at all for about 4 days, and it was weeks.
But it lingered
It lingered, and it lingered for
a long time.
a long time, months and months and months.
I wondered if she'd ever get out of it.
And I actually heard a sound when a piece of, like, it sounds weird, but when some scar tissue broke, it sounded like Velcro went, and all of a sudden I'm like, I can totally move again.
The bones went back into place. Mm-hmm. A lot of folks have been saying lately they're hearing these little sounds and pops and clicks and realignments and more freedom of movement. So we know we're on the right track, and that's why we're continuing to do this. So today...
Well, just so those of you who are in the Life Force Mastery Dojo who have been through the 4-week kata, where we have been doing Restoring Ageless Mobility from a vertical position, we wanted to make sure you heard the announcement that we're going to have a bonus class that really works on how do you go from vertical to horizontal, and then we're going to do another 4 weeks with the body either sitting or in a horizontal plane, so that by the end of it you'll have really a full routine that takes you through both gravities that you can use.
So when Sabrina is talking about that bonus class, I'm going to help people not only get down to the floor safely without hurting themselves, but also get back up. Because we've had people tell us over the years, I can't do those exercises on the floor with you guys because I can't get back up. Mm-hmm. So if you're in that situation, I think if you're in the dojo, you'll like that training. So that's coming next week. We're also going to, as Sabrina said, go from the vertical orientation to the horizontal orientation. And she also mentioned, if you're just tuning in now, the weight distribution shifts, because when you're standing, all the weight of your muscles in your body and your bones are stacking on top of each other.
Yeah,
and
the gravity is downward.
Downward gravity. So by the time you start getting to your lower back and your hips, it's a lot more weight that you're carrying. And that's why a lot of people have hips, lower back, and knee trouble. So as soon as you change the game and put the body in a lying position, you shift the orientation of the gravity pull.
It's almost, it reminds me of why some people like to move in water.
Right.
It takes the weight off.
Takes the weight off. It also changes the way that when you do a movement, because a movement is gently stretching, lengthening, or tugging on a ligament, a tendon, and a muscle, and putting bones back into place, it actually makes a lot of things easier that you can't do standing. So that's why we want to do that.
And depending on some people where they are on a healing journey or a recovery from an accident or just getting their mobility back, people say that they really like doing things when they first wake up in the morning and they're still in bed, that they want to do things before they even get up and walk around. So some of these are going to be transferable to that as well.
Coolio. All right, let's dig in. So I did this weird thing. You're probably going to think I'm the weirdest person. I went to the gym right before this class and I exercised my legs like crazy. And I put myself on one of those big machines where your feet can push the weights up. And I took these 45-pound plates of weight and I put one on each side and did 20 of those. So that's like 90 pounds. And then I put another one, so that was 180 on each side. Then I put another one, do the math, 180 plus 90. Now I'm into 270. And then I put another one, so it's that 270 plus 9. What is that? That's 360. Whatever. I ended up putting five of these big plates on each side because my body's gotten stronger over time, but I did it on purpose. I wanted to tax my muscles and make them get tight. so that I could demonstrate today with the awareness of what you might feel like.
Well, that's great.
If you have tightness in your buttocks or in your hips or your thighs.
So do you.
I do too. So I'm not going to be able to do a lot of these movements the way that I normally can because I did this weird thing, but I thought it was a good experiment. Yeah. So here we are. I want to start with the reason that it's so important to work on the hips. We're going to do it in the chair. And for me, I think of the body sometimes like a vehicle, okay? So the body, the skin, the exterior, the muscles, sort of like the body armor of your car, right? The metal or fiberglass, depending on the type of car you have. And then you've got the wheels that get you around, right? Put us on all fours, we're gonna have wheels. And then we have an axle here. So the shoulders, clavicles, and this whole shoulder complex, that's the axle that the wheels attach to. And this is why they get a lot of wear, right? Axles on cars. And then this one here, this one gets a lot of wear because this is the rear wheel drive vehicle that you have, right? So you're spinning the motor, the engine from here. And these hips and pelvis get a lot of wear and tear over the years. And this is why we see some people, especially if the hips are out of alignment, they end up having to have hip replacements or knee replacements because they've been shearing the joints, and you don't want that to happen later. And if you have anything like that now, maybe you could reverse that, unwind that shearing or misalignment, and prevent things like that.
Restore the youthfulness.
And restore, because the body's a rejuvenating organism. You can regrow cells and tissues. So my hips, I think I would have had a hip replacement by now from all the kicking that I've done in martial arts. And here's why I can say that. Because I studied the Chuck Norris system of karate, and Chuck Norris has had 2 hip replacements. My friend Shen, who got his black belt with me, has had a hip replacement. Another gentleman who was our instructor, Tom Bloom, has had hip replacement. So Superfoot Wallace, if you know any of these names, he's had hip replacement. A lot of people that have had a lot of wear and tear, kicking and doing all this stuff, have had a lot of hip pain. I have had in this hip all kinds of hip pain. And I went and had an x-ray, and the doctor said, you got degeneration, you've got arthritis, and you have all this stuff. And I'm like, all right, so you're probably going to need a hip replacement at some point. I'm like, okay. Qigong, 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 qigong. Do all this energy work and healing. And then I started doing the circles that we teach in the Ageless Mobility routines with the mindset work. And I've completely rejuvenated this hip. And if anyone's seen me kicking, especially with this leg, I'm slamming the bag, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm just here to tell you that if you have pain in your body, I really think you can unwind the tension from the tissues. You can realign the joints. I'm doing a sales pitch right now on you. I want you to believe in this and give it a go, because if this is just a video and it's like, oh yeah, try this little thing, it's not going to serve you. You actually have to practice it. Okay, so the hips being so freaking important to move you through life, I'm going to start with this technique.
You want to raise the chair?
Yes. We're going to start with a simple one. So I made a list of exercises that I've used to help my hips and my lower back. And it's a long list, which is cool because there's lots of things you can do. And if I show you a move that doesn't work for you right now, I'm certain we have another one that would work for you. So obviously we won't have the time today to teach you all of the moves. We're going to show you a variety of things to try. So don't dismiss this. If the first thing I show you, you can't do it, don't worry. I'm going to show you several, and one of them I'm certain is going to be helpful to you today. So the first one is just crossing the leg, okay? Now, I don't know if you can do that or not, but I'm opening my hip right now, and I'm going to push my hand down on my leg just to help open that, and then I'm going to push my leg up into my hand. It's called a hypertonic. So the first thing, though, is can we get the leg up here? And then have a long spine. These are some of the principles in the Ageless Mobility training, and start to breathe. If you cross your leg like this and you're like this, okay, got it on there, Tristan. Don't do it, because you're creating a pattern. So take a breath, lengthen your spine. Does this knee want to come up? If you can't get the leg, just get the knee to come up off the couch or off the chair. Pull it up. And once we can get that motion there, then this is called layered learning. Can you grab your shin? And can you start to pull it across? Now you're going to feel some tightness through your buttocks here. Now there are ways to release this muscle if it's too tight, so we'll get to that in a moment. But this does help stretch it, and then you just let the weight of the leg do its magic. It's just stretching that glute out. Now once that opens up, you can start to feel the shift getting more into the pelvis, and the leg, the weight of the leg will start to drop down. I'm always aware of long spine, and now what I'm going to do is help open it up a little further. Ooh, that feels so good. Now what you're going to do, the hypertonic, is you're going to push into your hand, and as you push, you allow your leg to come in a little closer and relax and breathe, and notice that you'll have more openness.
So you used
Downward pressure.
downward pressure with the arm at the same time as you had upward pressure with the knee.
So you're meeting pressures. You want to breathe. I just had a pelvis adjustment. So my pelvis just popped. Now notice you'll be able to go a little bit lower this time. So this one's great if you've already got the flexibility to get that knee up like that. And one more time. And I can already see it drop down.
Yeah, it dropped a lot.
Okay?
Can you lower this a hair?
You mean just tilt it?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Coming in. Hello. Okay?
There we go.
All right, let's try that on the other side. Let's start with the warm-up exercise.
And you'll find, most people find one side is so much tighter than the other.
Breathe out.
And when something is tight, a tendency is, well, let me use the other leg. And
Let's
then
take
the
this.
tight one continues to get more and more tight.
Can you get to that point? Just get that foot rested there. And you can even just rest your arm on there and let your body breathe and trust that it's okay to open the pelvis. Okay?
Like a dining room chair would work really great for this.
And make sure that your feet are able to touch the floor, your support leg. And then, either with your forearm or your hand, push down a little, and remember to push up. And move your leg upwards. You want to engage the muscles. So here's an important principle. We're going to go down. If someone just grabs you and stretches you and you relax and you're in what's called a passive state, your brain's not engaged at all. And so the tightness comes back. But when you engage your brain and you send a signal to your muscles, engage and rise or press, you are actually recalibrating the signal between the brain and the body more so than if someone stretches you out themselves.
I'll show you an example of that. Sometimes you'll say to somebody, drop your shoulders, and they'll drop them. And they'll feel like they're down. But then they say, pull them up, as high as you can, and then drop them. And when you drop them, they will drop lower from experiencing that tension of being up, from the mindful awareness that they're up. Then when they relax more.
How do you feel right now from just opening that a little bit? So like I said, there's several. I'm going to show you a little more advanced technique now. Same one. Knee comes up, bring it across. Notice that it's more open. Long spine. Bring your chin forwards. Well, hello there, gluteus maximus. So right in here, you will feel that stretch. Now, why is this important? Well, when this is short and tight, it causes the lower back to get tight, and it bunches everything in, and so all these muscles are attached to bones, so it starts tugging on the bones. It can cause the hips to pull back. It can cause that deep arch in your lower back.
Show from the side again, please.
Look at this. I'm not wrapping my head down, I'm taking my chin
I
forward.
want you guys to see this long line, all the way under there, all the way through the leg. That's going to be the longest your body can be. So during the daytime, it's all short. As we walk around, you take that opportunity to lengthen it.
What's lovely about this is called sitting pigeon. I want to do the other leg. Why don't you practice the other leg? But notice what I'm doing over here. This is lying pigeon. You little lying pigeon. Where someone's on the floor here. Do you see how it's a similar triangular posture?
Way more advanced.
Much more advanced, much harder for some folks to do. And then you start wrapping these things up and all of that, right? Much harder to do. Really easy to do, well, maybe eventually in the chair. So you got the other leg done?
Yeah, like for me, I have some issues with cartilage in my knee. The sitting works really well, where the pigeon on the floor causes too much bend.
Lefty loosey, righty tighty. So one side's tighter than the other. That's not uncommon at all. Does it matter how high you're sitting? No, just it's nice if you can get the legs, the bottom of the legs parallel with the floor and the feet touching the floor. So you have the stability and you're not hiked up or your legs aren't hanging down.
This movement is also very good if you have ever had sciatic. The sciatic nerve runs through the piriformis muscle, almost like a flossing. So when you're moving forward, you're opening that and stretching and letting the nerve floss freely. Whereas when it's shooting and burning, it's because the muscle is so tight the nerve can't move. Whew, I went through a phase when I was dancing a lot and holding my butt too tight all the time. I could hardly drive. My foot would be on fire, and this really, really helped.
I love this. It's so convenient when you're at the desk. Just back away from the desk for a minute, do that exercise, warm it up, gently bring it across, even just let the weight of the leg do the stretch, engage the sound of the breath because that's telling the brain to send the healing and relaxation response through the body. And once you've done the press, that hypertonic is really effective. See if you can add that gentle lean forward, lead with the chin, okay? All right, so that's exercise number 1 plus some add-ons.
So you could see somebody, or you could try to just mirror somebody doing that. Okay, foot on knee, lean forward. But the intellectual understanding that we're trying to give you of what is happening and how to approach it and when to breathe and the hypertonics, that's what's going to give you the benefit. Just sticking your foot up on your other knee, that might feel good for a second, but it's not going to give you the lasting changes.
You're re-educating the brain-body connection. Radhika says, this exercise feels so good. Energy is coursing through the hips. Yeah, there's a saying, use it or lose it. And hips don't lie.
And if you've lost it, go get it.
Yeah, go get it back. The hips.
Have an easier one?
Yeah, we've got plenty here for you. I tell you that the hips, they're the axle that connects to the transmission, which is the spine. Okay, so if we're off in this power center area, we actually are psychologically affected. We do not feel as grounded. We do not feel as confident because we're designed to move forward in life. We're designed to move with conviction and purpose. And when we're hesitating and worrying or feeling instability in the hips, it's affecting your psychology.
And these are the largest, your buttocks is the largest muscle in your body. Therefore, it should be the strongest. And I think so many people avoid using it because once it starts aching, the tendency is to avoid, rather than the understanding that, wait, I can move into it without it being painful and heal.
The SI joint. Yeah, there's so many different areas to stretch. And we're going to probably come across one today. I don't want to overwhelm us with too many moves, but I'm going to show you another one now for the hips. There's many standing hip exercises that can be done, with a chair, just opening and gliding, right, like that, and there's circles, and we just did a whole series on that and figure eights. I want to show you one on the ground. And again, if you're having trouble getting to the ground or getting back up, the bonus training that we'll do for all of this new series coming up, you'll learn some techniques for sort of getting up and getting down. I'm just going to, this is a little bit more advanced. When the legs are strong enough, you can just sit. Some people will sit and roll. There's different, that's a little bit harder type stuff, but that's typically how I would get to the floor. But here's what I wanted to show you. So that movement that was just done in a chair can be done here. Okay, so you see it's the same posture, but here's where it gets a little different. You thread through the needle and grab the knee. Now what you do is you pull in. I would like you to flex your foot like that. And remember how we pressed here? This time press the leg, this leg, onto this knee. So you'll pull the knee in, and push the leg against it. Now, if this is too advanced, I understand.
So the
You
knee
won't
you're
do it.
holding is pulling towards you, and the foot on that knee is pushing away.
Now, you're going to do that for about 5 to 7 seconds and push and watch. I'm going to release a little bit this time. You won't be able to move as far, but pull it in. Now, you can also hold the leg and extend this leg away. Okay, so I'm just using a little bit of weight here to help lengthen through here and hold this. Okay, okay, so now cross it over. Relax and just let it hang for a moment. Now what you'll do is you'll take this knee and you'll use the leg that's on the top to stretch the outer hip right here. But wait, there's more. Take this bottom knee, push it upwards as this one pushes down. So that's that meeting of pressure. Put your arms out to the side to stabilize yourself. Push up. You'll feel it move all the way through the outer hip, the greater trochanter, and move it through air. Relax. Release and relax your back and your spine. Let it drop a little lower. Push.
I love this one.
Notice that you're able to go a little further each time. And this really gets up through. Right here, you'll probably feel a little stretch through your psoas, through your tummy, definitely through the outer leg and hip.
Even the hip flexors.
And the spine. Okay, try that on the other side. Cross the leg. If you need to pull this in a little, you can. Hold the knee. If you can't do that, that's okay. Just hold your leg. You don't have to thread the needle. You could just hold here. Okay?
You could hold behind the thigh.
You could do that. You can hold behind the thigh as well. Thank you, Sabrina. Or all the way through to the knee. Flex the foot. Press. And relax. If you have to release the leg, don't cramp. We have someone visiting. Press, flex the foot. I'm flexing both feet. Relax. Okay? Hold the leg. Extend the leg. Don't kick the dog. And find, oh, he doesn't have a bed. Cross the leg. Just relax for a minute. Let that settle in. That's called a drive-by. That's a dog by. Let it float to the side. Push up and down at the same time with both legs. Thank you. My midriff was showing. And relax. Let's go again. Release the spine a little more. Arms out to the side for stability. Press down and press up. I'm much tighter on the other side. This feels much looser to me. And I'm going to do it one more time, giving me 3. Take a moment, take a breath. And here we go.
So you may feel comfortable doing this on a floor. You may want to do it on a pad. And like I said earlier, you may want to try it on your bed, whatever works for you.
That's if you're having trouble getting to the floor, these work great on the bed. There's a lot more. I'm going to give you one quickie last one. I'd love to, when we're doing all of the techniques, we're going to do a lot of circles, we're going to do swing legs, we're going to do a lot of stuff. But today I'd like you to leave with one more that opens your pelvis. So just put the soles of the feet. I sleep like this in bed. This is how I go to bed at night, to stretch my pelvis out. So we said for hips and pelvis. So this is inner thigh. Let that go. If you have a friend who you want to have them help you, what they can do is they can come over and gently push inside your knees in front. Okay? And then you very gently squeeze to do the hypertonic. They let you come up a little, and then they push down. You'll find that you open more, push again. You will probably feel some quivers and shakes because those muscles haven't had that. And push, go ahead and really lay on them now.
Lay?
Well, just put more weight evenly. There we go. Thank you. Ah, that's so good. Thank you, my dear. Okay, so if you have, A partner or a friend?
A date?
A date. Last thing. Hold under your thighs and slowly extend to stretch your hamstrings.
You can support. Show how you could support from underneath.
You can do it this way.
Yeah.
I like this way so that they'll open more. Remember to breathe and rock and roll up. And however you stand. Okay, I would shake that out. That really opens the pelvis. Okay, that's enough for now. That's just scratching the surface, but those hypertonic presses are going to give you a lot more mobility. Okay, how be you?
So if you didn't understand hypertonics, you could experience it just, I'll show you a really easy way. Let's say you were going to do a bicep curl, right? This is a bicep curl. But you might take your other hand and say, no, you're not going to do a bicep curl. So you're doing the bicep curl at the same time, the other hand saying, no, you're not. So you're getting that equal and opposite pressure. So to an onlooker, you know those onlookers, they could be like, they're not doing anything. They're just like posing. They don't know what's happening.
Doggy drive-by. We definitely had a couple of doggy drive-bys. The question regarding the mat. This mat is 6 feet.
5 by 7.
No, this is the 6 by 4.
Oh.
We almost bought the 5 by 7, but it was a little bit big. This is the Cam B-I-V-O. C-A-M-B-I-V-O. Cam VO.
We should put it on our store.
We will. We'll add it to our store, which we'll give you the link to our store in a second.
Our store is just an Amazon page that shows you our stuff, so you can.
We have a few stores.
Yeah.
But we have the Satori store, and then we have our Amazon store. This is not in our Amazon affiliate center, but we'll add it to it for those of you who want it.
The mat is a mint green. It's really pretty.
That's the link. If you're ever looking for equipment that we enjoy, like the fitness bands or massage rollers, foam rollers, we put all that stuff in here. So SatoriMethod.com, Amazon. Okay. All right. How are you doing? How do you feel? Were you able to do some of those? So Dale says I got an adjustment in my lower back. Radhika says lying down exercises look fabulous. I'm going to try them tonight. My body wants them. Pri says thank you so much. I need this so bad. I think I'll do this in bed before rising, says Elizabeth.
That's
wow,
awesome.
wow. That's great. Good feedback. I think we're barking up the right hip tree. I love when my hips feel open. I mean, just think about all the things you do with your hips. You know, when you bend down to pick stuff up. You know, those hips, they've got to glide, they've got to flow. I like them for working out. I'm a martial artist. I'm athletic. I like my hips to, I try to follow her with her dance steps. I need my hips to be flowing.
Yeah. And I just think this is, I brought this, I'm going to bring this up again. There's a tendency in us, and maybe you just experienced it like, oh, I can't get my foot on my knee. It's not for me. But you'll never be able to. You'll never get that mobility unless we take the baby steps, and everything can be modified. Everything can, there's always a beginning, and everything is good. So let's say the circumference of your circle is teeny tiny. Well, in a week, it'll be a little bigger. And before you know it, you're going to be like, I didn't think I would ever put my foot on my knee. I didn't even know what that would feel like to feel so much ease and freedom of movement.
Yeah, I just love working with these type of exercises to bring back that ageless mobility. I don't know, we were moving our home to this new home, and it was a lot of lifting boxes, and I had my dad's big truck, and sometimes I'd have to climb up on the side of the truck to hook those cables to make sure things didn't go flying off the truck, and sometimes we'd pile it up pretty high, and I'd have to get up, and I would just jump off the truck. And I could never have done that before. But because of doing these things consistently, exercising, using my muscles, I feel super functional, and I feel like a provider. I feel like someone who's strong, who can help my family. And that feels really good to me. I like having a strong body. I like knowing that I can rebuild things that have broken or been out of alignment. I like knowing that we can reverse aging if we know what to do. in the right way. And so you have to be a little bit of a sleuth, which means a detective, and try different things and find the moves that work best for you. What we do is we take a lot of movements and we simplify them into a routine. So that's what we're going to do starting in 10 days.
Yeah, I just remembered the last time, and I'll get back to that. We're starting it in 10 days, meaning the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
In the Life Force Mastery Dojo, we're going to work on that anti-gravity, more mobility, but it won't just be the hips. We'll go through, what body parts are you thinking about?
Well, I'm definitely going to do a lot more hip work because that's the central component of the body. That's that axle. Ankles. And there will be a lot of spine. So think of the transmission, super important. So we're going to work on the spine and the hips because we've done recently a lot of shoulder work. I did a whole body. In fact, anyone who joins us in the dojo for this next thing, you're going to get the previous series we did.
Right. So we are going to open up the dojo for a few days for those of you that want this 4-week More Mobility Masterclass. And as soon as you join, you're going to get access to replays of what we've been doing. And then you'll join the live classes for once we start the bonus session, which I think you'll get in on the 8th, and the bonus session on how to get up and down from the floor in various ways that every single one will work for you. There'll be one that works for you is on the 10th.
There's actually a link that I could give you, but I don't know if it works yet.
Oh, well.
I'm going to give you a link to write down.
Well, it'll work for the replay. Well, while he's getting that, I want to tell you, we took our puppies, the one you just saw. Bentley just walked in.
Save that link.
Okay, so Bentley walked up the stairs to get here and walk down, and Bentley is 13. And when we took him to the vet, we took him and his brother Winston, who's 11, and the vet was like squeezing them and started moving their back legs around, and they were like, oh, they're really healthy, you must keep them moving, their hips are strong. That was like the first thing they checked. And it's the same thing with us. If our doctors spoke that freely, they'd be like, let's see, how healthy are they?
Hips.
How are the hips?
They don't lie.
And then they tested the knees. When I was in a car accident where I lost the cartilage in my knee, the first thing the doctors told me is you've got to get your hips really strong since you don't have any knee cartilage, because you have to carry your body's weight with your hips. You can't drop it into your knees or ankles with the issues that I have. And I know a lot of people tell us their ankles hurt, but a lot that their knees hurt. And I think it's because the hips are weak. Yeah. So I'm super excited not only for your hips to get more mobile, but stronger. So if you want to join us for the 4 weeks of the vertical mobility, and when you register, you'll be able to see the replays of the horizontal, of the vertical, so it's fluid. That's also awesome. There will be, and just confirm that you'll teach it, there are a few things that you can do with your knees, like when you're laying down, that completely takes the weight off the legs. That's going to be easier, and ways that you can move your ankles when you're laying down, so that they are weightless when you're working those joints that can be sensitive.
Yeah, I think I'm going to really pack this next one with a lot of stuff from the back to make it super easy so folks can do it lying in bed or on the floor. And yes, there are a lot of joints we can work, especially hips, spine, knees, and ankles from the back. So that's what you have to look forward to. But you've got this for now, so start working with this. I did see a few comments come in about I need this, but I also need discipline. Okay, that's cool. That's what we do in a dojo. A dojo is a place of transformation and personal mastery. And a big part of what we vow to give our students is the motivation and the love-based discipline to what we call work the craft. Yeah. Inspiration is essential. It's the reason for this particular show and these mini classes is we're here to remind and inspire people of what's possible, but then also give them the tools and the steps, because we need the right technique in the right order and done at the right time in the right way. Yeah. If we give you that plus inspiration, we got a winner. If we just inspire people and show them what we can do, so what? That's right. Yay for us. We want you to own this, make it your own. We got to help you develop that discipline. It's so much easier when you have a system and a process that's easy to follow.
That's right. And I'm going to challenge that discipline excuse a little bit.
Okay.
I don't have, Tristan tells me that I have a lot of discipline, but I feel like once I had some discipline and I started doing the movements, I felt good. I felt great. I felt incredible. And it's like it doesn't take discipline for me to eat a piece of cheesecake because it tastes good. It doesn't take discipline for me to hang out with my favorite person because it's so much fun. And it no longer takes discipline for me to move my body in ways that makes me feel amazing.
Right.
And when I don't do it, feel like poo-poo and crappy, and then I'm irritable and I'm complaining and I make excuses and I have inflammation and I'm taking way too many Advil. So once you get over that tiny little hump, if you can just get into a discipline of, hey, I'm going to do this once a week. Once a week I'll take 15 minutes to do it, and then I'm going to do it for 5 minutes in bed a couple days before I get out. That alone will change your life.
Yeah.
If we didn't believe it, we wouldn't be preaching.
We're super picky about what we spend our time doing, and if we find something better, we're going to shift to that.
See,
Yep.
dogs on the yoga mat.
Lisa, your question about do we need the previous exercise and katas? You do not. Are these okay for one parent who has had a hip replacement? Yes. One of the first things they're going to tell you to do when you have a hip replacement is to start moving, and these are circular, a lot of the movements
And
that
knee
we're teaching.
replacements. So when you join us in the dojo with this invitation, before you enter the live classes on December 10th, if you're watching the replay, there'll be a video underneath this that explains it to you, but you will get immediate access to some of the replays of the Restoring Ageless Mobility, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4. Oh, are you going to share?
I found some pictures on my desk. Can I share them with you? They're about somebody who has a lot of discipline and ageless mobility. These are great. During the move, we found some of Sabrina's competition photos, so hopefully this will come through. I just think she moves really good. Look at that. Look at that. Standing on those tippy toes. Yep, that's yours truly, Miss Sabrina. And I got another one here. This is the super sexy one. I wish it could be a little bit more clear. She's making quite the face there.
I am.
Look at those legs. Good Lord, girl. You are one hot dancer. Okay, tiny dancer. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for the comments. It really helps us. And if you want to keep coming in the chat once we end the session, tell us what you think, what you're looking forward to, what you experienced. That will help us craft the most incredible kata for you. And by hearing your experience, we can make sure we have modifications for everyone. And that's why the live classes are so amazing. Even if you're watching the replay, is you can ask questions like just asking, hey, my spouse had a hip replacement. Is this good? Yeah, it's fantastic. This is like physical therapy. A lot of our students go to physical therapy and they're like, well, they were just teaching me what you guys did, only not as good.
A lot of physical therapists really like our techniques too, and they like to incorporate them. I was just recently working with someone who is like a PT for Olympic athletes, and she asked if she could film me moving and showing some of the techniques that I do because she was so fascinated by the moves. So, you know, this stuff works. It absolutely works if you work it. Cool feedback on the pictures. Yeah, you know, this is a human being here who has helped me learn to move with grace and flow and ease, and we're here for you. We want to help you feel amazing in your body and in your life, and we see the body as an extension of the soul. The soul is having this beautiful experience, and so we take care of the body as a temple that the soul is and lives in. And so you'll hear us talk about those things too. We're very specific flavor, right? We understand that this body is built for service. It's built to help share this love, and giving yourself this time and this love. You deserve to feel amazing. And if you've been feeling shut down or funky like we have, we so know what that feels like. And we know how much it sucks, but we also figured out how to get out of it.
Yeah. And because of our background before the back injury and before we were doing all these arts for healing and for longevity and to feel great, since we were like teenagers, I was helping people learn to be more mobile in order to be a dancer. I was trying to work with adults who have decided they wanted to do ballroom dancing and they had no mobility in their joints. So, and with martial arts, the same thing, helping kids find mobility, helping adults find mobility. So that background leading us to what's really going on behind it. How are we cracking the code and getting these people's bodies to open up so they can do these art forms? Or how can the greatest art form is to feel great in your body and to live a full life without limited restrictions. So I really love that about the way that we teach because of where it comes from.
That link, write it down and save it. This video replay will be on that link tomorrow. The doors will open up tomorrow at the time of this recording. If you're watching the replay, it's already open, but right now, can get in. So write it down and save it.
The joint's locked.
Yes, but tomorrow, ta-da, Shaolin Temple door opens, okay? All right, much love, everyone. Thank you for the great comments and feedback. Lisa, Judith, B, Leanne, I saw Joanna here. There's a lot of goodness. Thank you, everybody.
Trudy.
Debbie, Karen, Susan, Donna. We are with you the whole time. We're seeing you, feeling
Betsy.
you. Beatrix, it's awesome to have you part of this community. You guys make our lives so much fun. Radhika, Vera, all of you, every single one of you. So much love. Thank you. Have a great rest of your evening or day. Bye now.
Bye.